is the dance alive. Every minute you'd be on the floor shaking my feet.
Just keep it rocking out here. This is Happy New Year, everybody.
It's been a long fucking time.
Yes.
No, my French. Sorry, guys. What's that?
It's not French.
Yeah. Hi, guys. I've legitimately missed this. Yeah, it's been, what, 4 months?
Having everyone look at you adoringly? Is that...
No, it's been a weird, it's been, as I'm sure a lot of you know, and I think probably Misha and whomever else have been speaking about it, but I'm sure it's...
Yeah, what do you know?
We're glad
Very
to see
little?
We're glad to see you.
What?
We're glad to see you.
Glad to see me?
Yeah.
I'm glad to see you.
Yeah.
We heard you were the hero that held together on the plane.
He got outside of the
Yeah.
plane and was just flapping his arms.
I literally held the wing and the fuselage. It was like, keep it going!
I got this! Yeah.
If I hold it together, it means just pouring Alex a massive bourbon, then yes, I was helpful and facilitated. Somebody just left.
Yeah, this is also the last time we get to see you guys as Sam and Dean Winchester.
Yeah.
For now. Fingers crossed. Yeah, we have, this is what, the 4-week mark?
4 weeks left.
Yeah. I know. Well, he's acting, but all honesty, it's so I'm weird. I'm a lot of you know. I'm hyper emotional and like sensitive, and I like long walks on the beach. Purple and pink are my my spirit animals. I'm very nostalgic, and I kind of been surprising myself. I was like, I either am just like cool now, or like I'm dealing with this. And then on somebody's birthday, I sat in the airport, and I was like, oh, you know, I had already texted him, but I was like, I'm gonna like give a little happy birthday post to my boy. And often I'll just find like a picture, usually of us when what were we, 13 when the show started?
Yeah.
And kind of post like it's been so long, but I was like, let me see if I have something. Sometimes I have some little gems of skiing or hanging out in my photo album. And so I found a photo.
Those will all be released later this year.
There's an app.
Little gems.
Yeah, little gems. So I found a photo from our last ever photo shoot as Sam and Dean, and it was like, oh, cool, this is gonna be awesome. And then I started typing it, and it was like a small violin was playing. I counted on my fingers how many birthdays I had spent with this dude, and I was like, oh God, like now it's hitting.
It's happening.
And we said it.
It's happening.
Yeah, we were like, March. We'll feel it in March. We're like, oh, whatever. Sure enough, March. And then like, that was March 1st. Then March 2nd was the 1 month mark. Then March 3rd was my Sadie girl's birthday, rest in peace. It's like, everything was like, this is the last ever, blah, 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 before, this is the last time to be on stage. Corona.
No touch. You read the policy.
I look at the policy.
It's true. Like it was. I mean, you were having these kind of emotional feelings at the beginning of the season in July.
Yes. Yes, that's correct.
This is the last first day. And
That's true.
but you know, and rightly so. Like it was. This whole season has been it's been very emotional and very reflective, and I certainly was like, I'll deal with it later. And sure enough, I have to tell them, it was like March it's gonna hit. It was like March 1, and here was the problem why it hit. I ended up reading like the last few episodes. And
Y'all want me to forward it?
that was so. So we just got the final episode. We had been given kind of a verbal overview of how it was going to go.
In what, May or June? After
Australia? Last summer. Yeah. And but we hadn't seen anything written. There hadn't been any outlines or any breakdowns or certainly no scripts. And, something just kind of came through the wire on Friday, and I sat down in a trailer and I decided to read it out loud to some people, and I didn't make it through like one page. Oh, it's tragic. Now, not to say that not to say that the story is tragic, but just like, it's like, is it me being, emotionally, an emotional wreck reading this thing it was crazy, but it does, it kind of, like you said, when you look through those photos, you start reflecting, you start looking back, and you're like, wow, there's never been anything consistent in my life longer than this show. I've never done anything more consistently, and it's a lot. It'll be a big void.
That's 2 resident college dropouts. It's just like it should have been. Anyways, love you guys. Let's hear from you. Yes, that's a special experience. But I couldn't. Mitch was literally like, I read the script and was like, Mitch, and he texts like, hey, I think he's coming to the set to visit this week. He's shooting something in Vancouver.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, yeah, it's coming till the 6th. I'll come visit afterwards.
Come by.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm involved in that. It's such a funny because it's really present, but it's also sort of like Super is still winding down, so I'm trying to save myself. But yeah, I get to be involved in all that.
Casting is the worst.
It is the worst.
I'm sure.
My first experience at it. I even asked him about it. I was like, this is awful, because you see somebody and you really like them and you want them to succeed and they're really good.
Well, because we're always on the other side. We've always been on the other side of it. We always enter into a room and we have to put on a performance for people who have literally been listening to the same dialogue all day long from different people. And so, you try to do your best, and there's certain anxiety that comes along with walking into a room with a bunch of kind of cold faces going like, okay, let's see if you can do something nice. And so, and like this was his first kind of time on the other side of that. And I've obviously had to cast for the episodes that I've directed. And it's terrible. I was talking to Matt Cohn about it, because he just recently went through it. And, I guess being actors and having been in that position, you immediately feel the anxiety walk into the room, and you're like trying to do anything you can to ease their nerves. And who was it? Charlize Theron was talking about when she went and auditioned for Tom Hanks for was it That Thing You Do or something like that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and she was apparently a nervous wreck, and Tom pretended to have a phone call outside, and he was just doing that to give her some time to calm down before he came back in and let her. And I was like, you have to do stuff like that. But most producers, they don't give a shit. There's no phone call. Unless you're, and I won't say the name of this very big Hollywood director.
I love it.
He's got a lot of bad stories about him, but this one I was reading for him for a movie he was directing, and I was in the room, and no joke, his cell phone rang, and he took the call mid-scene.
Wow.
And I just looked at the cast director, and I'm like, do I stop? And she's like, yeah, just 1 second. I'm like, oh, okay. So it was a very quick call, and he goes, okay, I'm sorry. Thank you very much. That was great, thanks. And I was like,
I had the same.
I literally just looked at it and was like, right.
I didn't play it off so well, but I had the same thing with the casting director for, I don't know which one, but a Mandy Moore movie to play like the love interest 20 years ago, in 18 years, what was it called?
A Lock to Remember.
Could have been. I don't know. It was a Fox Studios movie. I remember going, and sure enough, she's sitting down reading with me, and the camera's over her, and her office phone starts ringing, and I sort of, not knowing what to do, kind of pause, and she does this. She's like, carry on, walks across the room to pick up the phone, is like, keep going, and casting. No, but I love you too. Yeah. I'll call you. Okay. Yes, I've always loved you. Yeah, I'll play back. Hangs up, and I'm like, okay. She sits down and is like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's like, at that point in time, I wasn't cool. I didn't have enough confidence to go like, you're a real. I'd love to go back and say it to her now.
Yeah.
Whatever. She's an asshole.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, thanks for bumming us out.
Our pleasure.
So it is kind of a joy to be a fan of a show that has such a relationship between the cast and the audience and the crew and the writers that I've never been going into a season finale so excited and like confident we're not going to get Game of Thrones.
Starbucks cup?
There will be a cup.
So my question is, because you've been these characters for so long, what is something that being Sam and Dean has taught you that you are going to carry with you into whatever next ventures you guys do? You're like has helped you hone your craft, something that you've learned in the process of doing this that you're going to keep with you forever, besides like the friendship.
How much time do you have?
Yeah. Probably gonna put a list together for you. I'll name one. I'll pick one. One thing that I've learned about myself through this experience of Supernatural. That was as far as like the work goes, and it only happened when I directed for the first time, and I realized that I created a certain headspace for myself in order to play Dean Winchester that I wasn't really aware of until I had to direct and then go right back into playing Dean on camera. And I realized very quickly that there were two completely different kind of modes of my brain that I had to switch back and forth between. And I guess I'd never realized that when I walk on set to play Dean, I have a very clear mind. I'm not overthinking things. It's basically know the lines and then just see what happens. And I think that's, we find a lot of the magic because he and I are just kind of available to see what happens because we know the material, we know how to play these characters, and so we don't have to overthink it. And a lot of times actors they'll overthink it, they'll overrun their lines to where they'll say it the exact same every single time, no matter what the person opposite them is doing. And it can be, it can seem kind of robotic and stuff. And so I think you miss the nuances of a character, the nuances of a scene, if you're not available to listen and let the dialogue kind of take shape, take form. But in order to do that, you kind of have to be clear-minded and clear-headed. And I never realized that until like doing the show. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense. So now that I understand it, I can embrace it more.
Yeah, ditto, I guess. But for me, my instinct, many things. But I think the most of all is some version of just keep going. Like this isn't the end, so to speak. I've been blessed and fortunate enough.
I think that was Finding Dory, wasn't it?
I still haven't seen it.
Just keep swimming.
Is that what it is? I'm fortunate enough to not have seen, saw it.
It's a great movie.
I'm sure it is.
How dare you?
Some version of many
Put it on
times.
now. Your kids want to see it.
Many times I've reached what I perceive to be my absolute end. Like I'm done, I'm pooped, I can't wake up for work tomorrow, I can't continue work today, I can't do this again, I can't do that again. You have an awful day, you read your sides for the next day, you're like, this is even more difficult, and crying all day and then doing a stunt, and crying all day, then we're doing EPK for, behind the scenes. And then you get home at night, you brush your teeth, and you take a shower, and you're like, wow, I did it. Like, I lost track of where my day was, but I'll be damned. Like, I'm still alive, and carrying on. I'm gonna get some sleep, and tomorrow's a new day. And I know
Sam's do it all over again the next
I'm
day.
gonna do it all over again, but you know what, I can do it. Like, give me, like, what do you got? Like, throw it at me. So some version of keep on going. I'm gonna go right here with glasses and a black shirt. Yes.
Hi, I'm glad you're both alive.
I'm glad you're alive.
I'm in denial about the end, so I just wanted to ask Jensen a question about playing Michael.
Okay.
Because it wasn't really hard to see Jensen as a demon, like son of a bitch, and then like Michael got to come out and say son of a
What
bitch.
do you say?
So, I mean, because your character like shouts a lot, he's like over the top, and
He's
then
real prick.
But then as Michael, I mean, what was your process to get into that character? Because he's so even, cadence of his voice is so even. How did you prepare? What was your process to do that?
I think I told the story about when I knew that I was going to do when Michael was going to be on the horizon for me to play. I asked Christian, who was playing Michael at the time, is there something that you do to kind of get you, that you think about that kind of keeps the character? Because I wanted there to be some continuity. And I remember Christian goes, yeah, man, there is. I'm like, oh, sweet. I'm like, do I need to write this down? What is it? And because he had that long cape, or that big trench coat thing. I guess it was like a duster. But he goes, I do this. He goes, and I just remember going, okay. But I realized, because there are those kind of tools, those little tricks, those triggers that you can use to kind of get you into character. So that worked for him, and it obviously worked very well because I thought he did a great job. I just had this thought when I was playing Michael that this is the most powerful person in the room, and he does not have to flex. And I just remember going like, well, if he is that omnipotent, then he probably is just calm, cool, and collected. And so I tried to do that. I tried to think of like, if there was no one in this room that even held a candle to the power that I possess, I'd walk with my chest out, my chin held high. So that was kind of my thought process going into it. And then it just kind of like evolved into what it was. So yeah, thanks. All right, let's go over here. Yes, ma'am, right there. Yeah.
Jensen, what will you miss most about the character of, or not miss most, about the character of Sam? Jared, what will you miss most, or not, about the character of Dean Winchester?
Well played. I thought you were correcting yourself. I didn't know that was I'll start.
Good.
What will I miss most? There is I kind of gravitate towards these type of people in real life for some reason. That I get a lot from Dean, a lot from Ackles as well. That are sort of some version of what I talked about earlier with her question. About like, yeah, it sucks. Let's put this other foot forward. All right, this sucks too. Let's get to the next foot. Like there's a bit of Dean, and it's endearing. But there's this kind of soldier's attitude of, yeah, this sucks. Let's go. And I dig it. I dig it in real life because I think I have the tendency as a person to kind of overanalyze and pontificate and vacillate between like, oh, should I? Is it good? Is it bad? How's my hair? So there's something nice about just objectively, listen, this isn't going to solve itself. Let's go. And I miss that, or I will miss that. What I don't miss is Dean eats all the food. So, I get to go back to being the one who eats candy. Yeah, I don't know if there's something I won't miss. I'm not sure about that part. I'll have to think about it.
I mean, there's so much that he and I have learned together throughout this whole process. And I mean, growing, not only as human beings, but as professionals, and then also with these characters. So, we've been able to unpack these guys now for 15 years. And I will say that there's a ton that I'm going to miss about playing Dean next to Sam and what that chemistry was. I'll pick one. One is, I think he brings this amazing kind of straight man humor to Sam that bounces great with Dean's idiocy sometimes. And I'm gonna miss doing something as Dean and looking over and seeing him eye roll. I'm gonna miss the Sam Winchester eye rolls. That's what I'm gonna miss.
I think it's bitch face. I think what I've seen on the interwebs is a bitch face. I'll sing it.
Because it is. It's every time, and sometimes it's not even scripted. I'll be like, right? And just, there it is. Just nothing.
Every morning I'm going to be brushing my teeth and I'll be like, I got to text Ackles. Thank you. Yes. Oh yeah, that was not intentional. Sorry, I didn't mean to make you run across the. Yes, no.
Basically picking people as far away from a microphone person as possible. Like, okay, they're there, and there, right here.
Yeah. Behind the curtains, or anything like that.
I'm freaking out. Okay. So over 15 years of Supernatural, what is a lesson that you hope your fans can take away from the show?
Fans, family, what'd you say?
Your
Fans.
family, the SPN family.
Well, people.
Jensen.
It's funny, I literally just yelled that line 2 days ago, and it was, "Stop killing my people." Spoiler alert.
And that was not on set, by the way. That was at home.
Yeah, no, that was just when I was brushing my teeth.
It scared us all. It was sort of like,
Sometimes Dean just flies out of me. So anyway, yeah, guys, stop killing my people!
we had to make some phone call. Daniil, is he okay? He's feeling really strange. Like, listen, I mean, I'm going to go back to a few prior questions. Keep going. You know, I think it's maybe it's life imitating art, and that's what I'm telling myself. You know, because I'm very, very sad. I'm wonderfully sad. This is a really interesting feeling. I'm sure all of us are in the same boat. Of being really happy and proud of what's happened, but really kind of like, wait, what? Wait, in 4 weeks, like, I might never get to see my buddy again, you know, Sam?
The biggest constant in your adult life will be gone.
Yeah, but tis better to have SBN than to never have.
Go on Legends, it's a Marvel convention. You guys suck.
Yeah, I guess maybe I'm trying to do like affirmations, like keep going, keep going. You'd be like, hey, what'd you eat yesterday? Keep going. Bleeding out of you. Yeah, keep going. Life, ideally, goes on. Wonderfully healthy. And we were all better for it. Alice?
I don't know, I always think about,
I didn't do that. I didn't do that. You're all looking at me?
and Jared and I have talked about this, but I'm proud that we have helped create something and you guys have found something that brings us all together. And, and I think that the unity factor of this community is powerful and speaks volumes. And you know, who knew 15 years ago that this little show would have united all of us today in Las Vegas together, and we have this commonality, and I think that's one thing that I hope continues on as we move into the next, I'd say chapter, but this is like a whole other book, and I hope that this, I hope what we built over these 15 years can continue to keep us unified and finding other ways of bringing us together. Now we're obviously gonna, as I'm sure you know, we're gonna keep doing these for, I don't know how long.
If y'all want.
So we're excited about that, and but yeah, I'm just proud that we have something that brings us together, especially the way that the world is right now. It can be very heavily divided. So finding things and that bring people together of all walks of life that we can all enjoy is that's what I'm really proud of, and that's what I'm proud that you guys helped build with us. So. Yes, sir. Yeah. Look at that, right next to the mic.
I was curious about 2 episodes ago, I think it's called The Hero's Journey, when you guys were normal. How humbling did you feel that episode was for Sam and Dean to experience the SPN world as normal?
I feel like it's something like this, because we're getting like feedback. Our microphones don't work. Yeah, is that what aired 2 weeks ago? When did we come back? Do you know? Sorry, nonsense.
March 16th. Next Monday.
Next Monday, yeah. They're switching us over to Mondays.
Yeah.
That's right.
We don't make the call.
I thought it was wonderful because, I mean, not gonna lie, that's occurred to Jared sometimes. Like, God, this really all works out for Sam and Dean, even when it seemingly doesn't. It's ephemeral. Next day, it's all set. I thought it was pretty funny. I thought it was a great time to kind of address an elephant in the room that's been in the room for 15 years, almost. So I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the sort of like gallows humor of like, of course the credit cards don't work. Of course the car won't start. Yeah, was that the one with the pool hall?
Yeah.
The next one, got it. It started kind of. No, okay, pool hall.
Preview.
Car?
Garth.
Garth.
Yes.
With the kids.
The tap dancing.
The Giants car.
What's that? Yeah. Oh, I remember that one. Hey, Jensen, it's Andrew. Yeah, what's up, man? Hey, can you dance? What do you mean? Can you dance? I mean, no. He's like, well, I mean, like, not like, in the club. You see what he's saying that? Well, you can dance. Not like.
Was this did 50 Cent call you? In the club.
In the club. And Andrew's so white. And he's like, no, like Fred Astaire, like Gene Kelly. And I'm like, no! What gave you the idea that I could do anything? And
Jensen said, I can only dance in the club.
In the club. And he was like, so you've never like taken any lessons? I'm like, no, no, that's not true. I was like, no, it's not true, actually. I took 3 lessons when Daniil and I were engaged, and we took 3 lessons to have when we have our first dance as a married couple. And we had this whole thing. It was like I don't know, maybe like a foxtrot or something like that. Oh, no. I was like, we committed. We committed.
Clearly.
And then we get there on the day, it's the wedding day, and she has this like amazing dress, and it's so big, we can't dance. And all those like 6 hours that I spent my life, that I was like, I must really love you. Ended up like this on the dance floor.
But it looked great. They looked wonderful and beautiful. Happy.
So I was like, no, man, I don't know. And he's like, well, could you try? And I was like, you know what? Why not? So that was, So DJ and I we had about two lessons or two rehearsals, and it was about an hour and a half each. And so yeah, that was about 3 hours of rehearsal, and then they were like, okay, we're gonna shoot it. And I'm like, good luck. But yeah, I think it turned out all right.
I think we're gonna see you guys elsewhere. Love y'all. Thanks for being here. Okay. Thanks, guys. See you later.